Hi, I'm Leonie West from Westalee Design, and I'm going to show you how to quilt with our circle wreath feathered leaf. This is part of our feathered leaf story. There are two templates, one that gives you the inner circle and one that gives you the outer circle of feathered leaves. Measures 11.5 inches from point to point at the outer edges of the circle. This one measures 5.5 inches from point to point on the outer circle. You can sew them just doing the outer feathered leaves or the inner feathered leaves. Inside we have the instructions and we explain how the tool works. There are numbers on the tool. 1 matches 1. This is going to give us the 11.5 inch outer circle. If we're using the smaller one, it will be the 5.5 inch. 2 is the inner circle, and we matches number 2 down here. We have a pin location hole here, and we do put a pin through the center of the fabric. We mark reference lines. These other measurements, the 3 and the 4, what they do is they will move my circle on the inner circle further in. And I think, Bill, if he comes in close, you can see in here we have one circle, or in here we have it with a 1/4 inch space between the two circles, and this one has a 1/2 inch space between the two circles. So we're giving you quite a few options with this template. We sew it by sewing, starting at a point on the template, which is the reference line that marks through the center. We'll sew up and around the feather. We will then sew our circle portion, and then we will turn the template, matching that center reference line again. So we'll do 1, sew the next one, turn the template, sew the next one, turn the template. So it's all shown in these instructions, but the video will also embed that method for you. I've marked 16 reference lines. This can be sewn in 16/8, and it can also be sewn with 32 reference lines. It will mean your feathers will bump into each other. We can sew it with 24 reference lines. I'm going to place my pin through the center, through the hole in the middle, and that is where my template is going to locate to. So my pin is in place. My template will then go over the top of the pin. If I place it at 1, I'm going to be sewing that outer circle. If I place it at 2, I'm going to sew the inner circle. So we'll start by sewing the inner circle. We're going to sew both of the circles at the same time, at the same process. So we're only going to end up with one circle stitching line. If you wish, you can double that circle stitching line. We're going to sew down our feather and back up to the reference line. So we'll sew around. It's only a little tiny feather. When we get to the line, we're going to stop. Move the template now. So we're just moving it across, locating in hole 1 now. That's going to give us our outer feather. So instead of sewing round and round and coming back and sewing round and round, we can actually sew all of this design in one going around. We're going to stop here. We're going to rotate the template. We're now going to sew our circle. From here, I'm going to sew that circle, that feather again. Come back to where our reference line is. Stop here. Move the template again. You get quite used to moving the template. I actually find it very relaxing changing templates. So we'll come back and sew the next one. We're going to sew up, back to there. When we get to our reference line, turn the template. If you only want 8 rotations, what we do is we'll stop at that reference line, rotate the template to here, sew to the next reference line, then put our feathers in. But because we're doing 16, we need to sew this one. We can also do our feathering of our feathered leaves in this process. So if I was putting feathering into here, I would come up to here, stop here. I can now bring my template up, align it here and put a feather in there. I'm not putting feathers into this one, so we now change the template. So you can get all of those little details put in as you go around this circle once. We're back to the beginning, turn the line again. So we've built the circle into the template as well as the feather. I think it's a very pretty, elegant design. Easy to sew, very big effect. One of the things I'm often asked is how much pressure do you put on your templates? There is hardly any pressure on my templates. My palm of the hand is doing most of my fabric movement. So my fabric movement is coming from here where it's just resting on the fabric and coming from my fingers which are touching fabric and templates, same as we normally do. We're going to do our circle again. Because we're on the inside and we've got another inside one, we don't change the template, we just come around and do the next one. Change the template to the next position. Our pin location system is what makes this possible. If I was doing this without the pin location system, I would be having to align reference lines constantly, which is fine for certain things, but I want my circle line to be a circle, and the only way to do that is with our pin location system. So we're just going to finish this one. We'll show you what this one looks like when it's done. So we've only got this feather to do and its partner on the other side. So we'll stop there, turn the template over, relocate the template, and we'll just have a circle line that will join from the last one to the beginning. This template was quite a long time in the design process to create a template that would do this and give you a pattern that's really, really pretty. We ended up right at the beginning, exactly where we started. We'll now bring the threads up, sew the ends in, and that is the centre done. We finished our small circle feathered leaf. Here is our circle going all the way around, our inside feathers and our outside feathered leaves. I'm now going to sew a larger one, the 11.5 inch. I'm going to sew it so my feathers are going the opposite direction. To do that, I'm going to flip the template. Located on two, I'm starting with the inside one. We're going to do the same as we did with the small one. We're just going to use the big one. Bringing up our threads. I'm going to turn the fabric for you so that you can see that I've aligned the reference line up here. This is going to give us our circle. So we'll sew our circle as we did before, but we're coming back up to our reference line up here. When we get to here, we stop. We're going to now sew our outside feather. It's just a process. Once you get into the swing of it, it's very easy, very rhythmical, and very relaxing. Come back to the reference line just here. And we'll move the template again back to number 2. We'll sew our next inside feather. And as you can see, our feathers are now pointing in opposite directions. And this is a great way, because we'll show you another thing we can do with this in a moment when we finish this block, which gives you another option. Turn that template again. Just line it up. When you're doing 8 point on here, you will stop here. Turn the template again. Continue sewing the circle line, and that way you'll get 8 feathers instead of 16. position again. Back to the outer feather. Line up the reference line. So each feather matches with the feather before. We're going to turn and sew our circle. Continue sewing the outer feather. And this is where I would stop if I was veining it. I would stop and put my veining in now, or feathering.